Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Backstage with Fred Cooper. And tonight, I have a wonderful friend and a great singer, Miss Beryl Davis. Beryl, good to have you.
Oh, gosh, Fred, what a treat it is for me, not only, of course, to be with you, but I have so many beautiful friends in your gorgeous place here, and it's always a thrill to be here. And thank you for having me back. I appreciate it more than you could ever know, truly.
This is a special night. We're going to do Salute to Glenn Miller. And you, of course, were the last of the Glenn Miller singers, big band singers. Talk about that a little bit, would you?
Well, I was in England, of course, where I was born and raised, you know, and I'd had a whole good career in the music business in England. And I guess when Glenn came to England with the Army Air Force Band, he found that he didn't have a girl, you know. He had Johnny Desmond and the Crew Chiefs. And so he enlisted me to sing with the band, and of course that was a turning point in my life. As a matter of fact, it keeps turning, it keeps coming back. And I'm thrilled to death to tell you, because not only was that meant so very, very much to me, but it was wartime. Bombs were dropping, we were running all over the place. I decided that I should be a little bit more careful, and apparently the Army Air Force decided that too, and they put me in a uniform. Oh. And with my orders directed from General James Doolittle, I was the only British civilian that was officially attached to the 8th Air Force. And I feel like I've been attached ever since. No, it was really, really wonderful. Of course, you know, the last show that we did with the Glenn Miller Army Air Force Orchestra was on December the 12th, 1944. I sang on that show. December the 15th of 1944, Glenn Miller, of course, took that plane ride, and that was the end for us. We've never seen him again, and we've had many, many stories surface and many theories, and nobody's ever known what actually happened, you know, unfortunately.
Now, you were here a couple of years ago. You did the war years for us.
Yes.
Some of those great tunes that came out of the 40s and 30s and 40s, actually, wasn't it? And Johnny Desmond, talk about him a minute. I had an occasion to have him here once, and he was a great
wonderful singer and a gosh, when I met him, I was starry-eyed, because not only was he a big star and somebody I'd listened to, but he was such a handsome guy. And he said, "Would you like to go for a walk?" And I said, "Yes, I'd love to go for a walk." And so I, the little British girl, went for a walk with Johnny down by the river, the Windsor. You know, we were in Windsor, so the River Thames flows by Windsor. They were in Bedford, you know, and very close to Windsor. And he took me for a walk, and it absolutely wiped me out that he started singing to me. And I thought, oh dear, what do I do now? And he started singing this beautiful love song, and I thought, I bet he does that to all the girls. Do you think he did, or do you think that was something special? I've never quite known, but I hope it was something special.
I don't know. I just remember. I remember talking to him about looking like Omar Sharif so much.
Yeah.
And
beautiful.
Oh, he was a good-looking guy.
And especially when it started to go gray and silver on the sides here, you know, and he went much too soon as far as I'm concerned. You know his nickname? Did you know his nickname? The Creamer. No. The Creamer. Creamer? Because his voice was so creamy, you know, and of course all the little gals, anybody, the wax, you name them, but they all just fell over.
Loved him.
And of course we had the Crew Chiefs as well, and
I remember them.
Yeah, the Crew Chiefs. They were the singing group, and wonderful musicians in the band. Peanuts Hucko.
Yes, I've met.
And Ray McKinley.
Never met.
And
Ray.
Del Powell on piano, and those guys were great. And of course, I was not only thrilled to death to sing with that band, but the fact was that I was a big fan of all these guys from their records long before they even joined Glenn Miller, you know.
Now, Tex Beneke didn't play there.
No, Tex was in the Navy.
He was in the Navy, right.
Tex was in the Navy. As a matter of fact, the last show that we did, December the 12th, as I said, was a battle of the bands between the Army and the Navy, because there was a wonderful Navy band had been Artie Shaw, and Artie Shaw stepped out and Sam Donahue took it over. So we had the Navy band on the right-hand side and the Army Air Force band on the left-hand side, and what a night that was. And that's the last show. That was the last
I bet
show.
that was kind of neat.
It was great. It was a real contest. It was, on many levels, you know, because they were all trying to outblow each other.
Oh, sure. Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
it was great.
It was that good old big band
Yeah.
stuff, wasn't
Oh, God. You know it's getting bigger and bigger. Fred. Are you aware that our new generations, ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to tell you this, but wherever I go and I look out at the dance floor, here come these kids jitterbugging, and they're all dressed. They get dressed for the occasion. The girls wear the little cocktail dresses and the high heels and the black stockings with the seams, you know. And it's wonderful to see this happening. And they come backstage and they want to talk, they want to touch. They seem to need the validity of, I'm happy to say, people like myself. They want to touch the people and they want to know where it's coming from and what was this about and what was they really are interested in it historically and then enjoying the music so much. Whoopee, that's great news.
It is.
It's great
That's
news.
super. Now, you're going to be doing, you're a very busy woman. You're very,
Yeah,
very busy.
I'm lucky.
Yeah, you talk about a little bit. You're going to be doing something in Palm Springs
Oh,
shortly.
yes, next Wednesday we have it. Well, I'm on my way now to the Lawrence Welk Resort to do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday there. And then I come back to Palm Springs and I do a wonderful show called Celebrate America, which as a naturalized American citizen, I am very proud of my American citizenship and do that whenever I get a chance. So we sing 2 or 3 more war year songs, of course, and mainly that because we are saluting the Palm Springs Air Museum, which is a fabulous thing. It's being built and opening on November the 11th, and that's all the fabulous old airplanes of World War II. And
is that out by the airport?
It's at the airport, and it's I was shoveled the first little shovel full of dirt and sang the Star Spangled Banner a cappella when they did it. And now it's a beautiful building. The planes are not in yet. The planes belong to a man called Bob Pond, who has a wonderful collection of old cars and old planes. And it's a great, great thrill for us. And we are also saluting something that we feel needs to be done, Fred, and we're saluting the women of the service.
Oh, good.
And a special bow to those ladies, because I don't feel that has been done in to its fullest yet.
Right.
So anything, my little bit that I can do, it's not much, but at least I have 4 wonderful ladies coming as my honored guests. And people in aviation and Army and Navy, etc., you know. And it's an important thing.
That's great.
You
That's
know.
great. Then you're going to be off to where? Florida, you said?
The next morning I fly to Florida. Yes, I sing every 2 years. I do a tour of Florida in the condos. And I will be alone there. I'll still sing the same songs. I'll still salute Glenn Miller, as I always do.
Sure.
And sing the songs of everybody. I salute Ella, our beautiful Ella Fitzgerald, and many other bands. When I'm singing alone, of course, I have the whole show. And it's a one-woman big band salute.
Yeah. Just like tonight.
Yes. No.
You're going to be doing it tonight.
No. Yeah, but I got a great band
You
behind me
got
tonight.
a super band.
Bill Toll.
I know, he's great.
He's wonderful. We've been to Australia together with Glenn Miller. We've been to England. We were at the Veterans Day Parade down 5th Avenue last November the 11th, and we finished up in Roseland Ballroom, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody remembers Roseland Ballroom, it was such a...
I don't. Tell me about it.
Oh, you must be
Where's
joking.
this?
It's on 52nd Street.
I've never been in
New York City.
Never
Well,
been.
it's traditional. Roseland Ballroom is where every band there ever was played there. And I could feel this. I could feel the reverberations in the air and the history of that place. And of course, the veterans on the side of our float, it said the Glenn Miller float, come join us at Roseland Ballroom. Well, what happened was, as we passed by, of course, we're playing In the Mood and all the great tunes, American Patrol and St. Louis Blues March. They all marched with us. They didn't stay for the parade. They just came with us, and we went right up to Roseland Ballroom and played, and they all danced.
It's great.
And it was great.
Sounds like a great jam session there.
It was.
Tell the folks, because I was quite amazed, you work, when you go to Florida, you work for Bobby Breen.
Yeah.
The great Bobby Breen that had the big problems in, what, 1939, I suppose?
Well, he was a child star. I see him in a Hawaiian set, sitting in a canoe, singing something in a very high-pitched voice, you know, and I was in England, of course, gaga had anything to do with Hollywood. So, you know, when I met Bobby, he's now a top agent in the Florida area and brings big stars in of all types, shapes, and sizes for this condo circuit. And I've been doing this for years and years for Bobby. And when I saw him, I couldn't believe it. He's got, or it appears to be the same head of curly hair, and he's very youthful looking. And he said, "Oh, I'd love to sing again." I said, "Well, why don't you? My husband books Princess Cruises, you know, the talent."
Right.
And he said, "Well, could you think Buck could book me?" He said, "Of course he could." And he's back out there singing again. So what can I tell you? These people go on and on. But Bobby, it was a remarkable, very, very young. I don't know how old he was when he started.
I don't even think he was a
I think he
teen
was
at
a
the time.
child star.
He was.
Yeah.
Had to do with something about his aunt and his mother.
But everybody knows that name. You say Bobby Breen.
Right.
And they say, could you be talking about the same guy that used to sing Walking by the River or Down by the River or whatever it was? You know? Yeah.
Well, it's getting time.
It's showtime. I got to put my good stuff on.
You look younger every year.
Oh, thank you. But that, you know, we're supposed to do that. That sort of comes with the territory. We're not allowed to do anything but go the other way now. I'm going the other way. Except all you have to do is hear what I say when I'm talking about Glenn Miller, and you add it up, and you know where it is.
That's right.
And you know what? I don't mind. I'm very proud of it, and I'm thrilled to death to be here with you. Please don't stop having me back. It's one of the lovely, lovely things that I get to do.
No, I can't.
Little warm heart.
I know. And there's
Thanks,
so
Fred.
many people love you here. So.
Thank you, and God bless, darling. Take care of yourself, too.
Oh, yes. Don't worry about me. I'll live till I die. Anyway, it's been fun chatting here with Beryl Davis and about some of the great old days and some of the good old days coming up.
Yeah,
and I know that they're going to love you out there in Palm Springs and in Florida and all around.
Yeah. Listen, got to remind you, in January, February, and March of next year, 71 one-nighters out on the road in the band bus.
Who with?
Glenn Miller.
Well, I mean, who's the band?
Oh, this is the Glenn Miller. Well, what it's called is the Battle of the Bands. We're saluting 4 bands, and I'm with the Glenn Miller Band always. But this is for Columbia artists. It's a national tour. But what my father, I told my dad, who was a band leader from England, and I started with my dad's band. That's how I started singing, very, very young, 2 or 3 years old. And I said, Daddy, I'm going back on the bandstand, and I'm going to do 71 one-nighters, and I'll be in the band bus. He said, sweetheart, you're going backwards. Okay, who cares?
You know, the last time somebody talked to me about that, Harry Babbitt had been here, and he and Bob Crosby were going out, and Freddie Martin came down, the only time I met him, to see that show that night, and they were going on about, I don't know, 60 or 70.
We all do it.
I know, but I saw them.
It's a way of life, I think.
Like they said, you know, there's times you can get in the bus and there's times you need something else.
Fred, it's not something you could suddenly start out of the blue. I think you have to be weaned on it. Then you learn how to handle it. You learn how to buy food as you go along so that you'll have something for after the show when everything's closed. All kinds of little tricks go into this.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'd like to do that once, about one night. That's it.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. It would never work out for you.
Been good to have you.
Yes,
Been great to have you.
You look wonderful. Keep it
we'll
up.
see you. We see each other every year in Palm Springs.
And everybody. It's all I ever want to say to anybody. You guys out there, you take your vitamins, you do whatever it takes to stay well, because we need you. Just stay well. I want you to hang around a long time. I need every one of you.
Now you've heard that straight from Miss Davis's mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun tonight, and thank you for being with us, and we'll see you again soon. Good night. Thank you.